Hey everyone, it's technology expert Burton Kelso here with another tech tip to help you get the most out of the technology in your life. Today we're talking about how to upgrade those unsupported Windows 10 computers to Windows 11. Microsoft, when it initially released Windows 11, said that it was only for a specific set of newer computers, and this was because newer computers have a feature on them called TPM, and then also Windows 11 was designed to go with newer Intel and AMD processors. But Microsoft has changed its mind and it has an official way that you can install Windows 11 on those unsupported computers. Many of you are probably getting this message on your computer, which is letting you know that it's time to upgrade your PC before the end of support. Now, Microsoft usually, and with tech support and technology experts, upgrade means that you can do something to your computer in order to make it run Windows 11. Unfortunately, the only way that you can make this happen is to buy a new computer. But again, Microsoft has changed its mind and said, hey, you know what? If you got an older unsupported PC, we'll create a way for you to install Windows 11 on that computer. And so they've done so. Now, for many of you that watch this channel, Tech Tips for Non-Tech People, understand that this is a pretty complex process to get your unsupported computer to go to Windows 11. Under most circumstances, I wouldn't share this type of video, but this video was created in the main instance to ensure that you knew that you could upgrade your Windows 10 computer to Windows 11. If you are a novice computer user, you probably better not try these tips. If you are somewhat dangerous, you can try them, but make sure that you follow these instructions step by step to prevent you from ruining your computer. In the places that you need to go and modify your Windows 10 unsupported computer, it's a good possibility that you may ruin Windows and not be able to get your computer up and going unless you reinstall the operating system. So back up your information and your programs. At least make sure you've got the CDs for those before you start this process. So with that said, without further ado, let's talk about updating that unsupported computer from Windows 10 to Windows 11. So one of the first things that you have to do when you are talking about making sure that you can update Windows is not just downloading the install file, but you got to make sure that your Windows computer is up to date. Best way to do that is, like I'm about to do now, is to go to Windows and check for updates. So under normal circumstances, when you go to your Windows 10 computer, it's at the end of updates. The only updates that probably are waiting to install are ones for Windows Defender and just random Windows updates. But in the most part, you've kind of already reached the end of life of what your support you're going to get for Windows 10. So the first thing that you want to do, again to verify, is to make sure that you are checking for updates. After you click on check for updates, if you get the clean bill of health saying, hey, you're up to date, then you are good to go. Now again, you will get security updates occasionally for Windows 10, which is things like updates for Windows Defender, etc., etc. Now, the other way, and this is what we're looking for as far as updates are concerned. If you click on your view update history, we're looking for a specific update, which is 22H2, which is the last major update for Windows 10. Going back to our computer, if we scroll through our update history and look to see update for Windows 10 version 22H2 and then the cumulative update for Windows 10 22H2, this will let you know that you are running Windows 20H2 and is a good sign that you have all of your updates installed for your Windows 10 computer, and then you can continue to upgrade your computer. Now, if you've got a history of not letting your computer update to Windows or update Windows, or it's been sitting around for a while, again, make sure that you are updating your computer to verify that you are getting your updates. Next, what we want to do is to make sure that you have the actual installer for Windows 11 on your computer. If you go and just Google Windows 11 download, it will take you to this website, which is the official Microsoft site that will allow you to download Windows 11. Now, there's two ways that you can get Windows 11 installer on your computer. The first way is to download what's called an ISO file on your Windows 10 computer. The Windows 11 ISO file allows you to burn it to a CD, or you can just run the ISO file as if it were a virtual DVD on your computer, because in this instance you want it to run it as a virtual DVD rather than trying to reinstall from scratch. The good thing about this update from Windows 10 to Windows 11, you will have the option to save your files and ensure that you can, what's the word I'm looking for, update your computer as opposed to just doing a fresh install. That's the beautiful thing about it. We'll actually treat it like an upgrade as opposed to a new install. So going back to our computer, we are going to try to download the Windows 11 ISO disk. Now sometimes, well, what you want to do is make sure that you're installing your ISO by clicking and choosing the Windows 11 Multi-Edition ISO for 64-bit devices. Once you do that, you can click on download, and what will happen is, if it happens under good circumstances, it'll allow you to select your product language, which, depending on where you are in the world, you want to choose it. Once you click it, you want to confirm, and then once you confirm, then it should take you to the download process where you can click on the 64-bit download, and it will take you to the next section, which is asking you to save the file to your download folder. So I'm clicking on that, and it's going to the download folder. Do I want to stop that? Let's go ahead and pause that for now, because we already have the ISO file. Now, in the instance that the ISO direct download does not work, sometimes you have to go to Windows Media Creator in order to get the ISO file, and I'm going to show you exactly how that works. So if you go to the Windows Media installation, you can download the file, which will send it to your download folder. We're going to minimize and act like we got that file. In the download folder, we want to go to File Manager or File Explorer first, then we want to go to Downloads. Once we're under Downloads, we can see that the ISO file was downloaded successfully, but then also too, just as a backup, we downloaded the Windows Media Creator tool. I'm going to go ahead and run that. Make sure that I allow the app to run, and then we will get the pre-installer for Windows 11 as far as the media creation tool is concerned. It's going to take it a few minutes in order to bring up what we want, which is the applicable notices and license terms. We're going to hit accept, and then our Windows Media Creator tool is going to offer us two things. Number one, it should offer us the option to save this to a USB after we confirm our language and version. So we have the option to save the ISO to a USB drive. And if you have a supported Windows 11 computer, this is an excellent thing to do because it allows you to have a bootable USB drive that will allow you to reinstall Windows 11 if you have issues with the Windows 11 install. But again, this will only work if you have a computer that is fully supported for Windows 11. Our other option is to actually download the ISO file. And again, we only want to use this option if the standard download for the ISO file does not work. Once we click on the ISO file, it will allow us to download it to the download folder. We can hit save, and it will save the ISO file directly to our computer. Once we get the ISO file, let's let's exit out of that install. And we've got to make a couple of more modifications to our computer in order to make sure that we can run Windows 11. Next, we have to modify what's called the Windows registry. If you go to Windows Search, type in the word registry editor, or you can just begin to type registry editor, and your computer will show you the registry editor. A single click and allowing the device to run will take us into the Windows registry, and we can make our modifications. Now, the Windows registry is a section in your Windows computer where it gives commands and directions to the hardware and software on your computer. And in this instance of the Windows registry, we want to tell Windows that we want to bypass everything that is built in, telling it to check for a supported CPU and the TPM module that is necessary in order to run Windows 11. So in doing so, we're going to do the following and type in a command. So we're going to go to the Windows registry and look at the HKey local machine tree. Once we're under HKey local machine, we want to expand this tree and we want to go to System folder. Once we click on System, we want to expand the tree and take it to the Setup folder, which is already expanded. Once we're under the Setup folder, we want to navigate to the Mode Setup folder. Under the Mode Setup folder, under normal circumstances, you will only have the default reg_sz with no value set. What you want is that you want to put in the allow upgrade with unsupported TP or CPU command in. What you would do is to create this, you would go to either right click, which I think is the easiest thing to do, go to new dword value 32-bit and then click on it. What it will do is it will, and we're going to trick it, so you would type in the allow upgrade with unsupported TPM or CPU exactly as it is seen. So you want a capital A, capital U, capital W, capital U, all caps TPM, or is going to have a capital O with a lowercase r, and then CPU is going to be in all caps. Once you type that in, it's going to come up with a value of 0. What you need to do is once you type in your D word, double click on it and it will give you the option of changing the value data. The value data should be 1, and all you have to do is change the 0, because that's what it will be by default, to a 1, click OK, and then we just need to click on the red X to close out the Windows registry. Like a lot of things in Windows, the Windows registry, or I should say unlike a lot of things in Windows, the Windows registry does not need the computer to be rebooted in order to do its thing. Now that we've updated the Windows registry, we have to create a virtual DVD drive in order to start the process of getting Windows to install. Now, moving back to our desktop, we want to click on File Explorer, go to the Downloads folder, and under the Downloads folder, we want to find our Win32 ISO file, which would normally be also called the disk image file. Once we single click on it to highlight it, we need to right click on the mouse and left click on the word mount. What this will do is it will create the ISO file and make it and turn it into a virtual DVD drive. Once you've done it, you'll see that it says DVD drive D, that it's been mounted as a DVD drive, and then we can see all the accessible folders, including setup, in that virtual CD-ROM drive. To double check, I would highly recommend that you go back to this PC and make sure that you have your local disk C, which is C drive, and also make sure that you've got your DVD drive, which is drive D. Now this comes into play because we have to run this setup prompt. You can't just go to setup and run it. We have to run it from the command prompt in Windows because we have to add parameters in order to get it to work. Now going back to our computer, we're going to go to Windows Search. We're going to type in the words or the letters CMD to bring up the command prompt. Once we're under command prompt, we're going to right click because we want to run the command prompt as an administrator account. If you do not do this, Windows will come up and it will allow you to run command prompt, but the problem is command prompt won't accept any commands for the sake of security for the computer. So you always have to run command prompt as an administrator in order to get it to do its things. Now we have to go in the Wayback Machine in order to enter in some old school DOS commands. As you can see right now, the Windows or the command prompt is currently in the Windows underscore or subfolder System32. To get set up to run, we need to change the drive to drive D. So what we would do is type in the DOS command, D, the letter D, and then the colon, and hit enter on our keyboard. As you can see, what it does is it changes it from drive C to drive D. To verify that we're in the correct directory, we want to type in the DOS command dir/W. That was an E, wasn't it? We want to hit enter, and what we want to do is confirm that we are seeing the contents of the Windows folder that has the Windows 11 setup in it. Now, once we're there, we need to type in the following command with capitalization. This will matter because this is the only way that we can get set up to run properly on our unsupported Windows 10 computer. So we want to start out with the command setup. So make sure that you click inside the command prompt box and start typing. So it's setup.exe, not .com. I've got websites on the mine, obviously. After we type in setup, it's going to be a /product with a capital P. And then after that, we want server with a capital SERVER. And then we are going to type in a space. And with product server, we're essentially telling Windows that we want the computer to run the product or the server version of Windows 11. Next, we want it to be compatible, so we're typing in COM or capital COMPAT to say we want it to be in compatible mode. Because once it's in compatible mode, then we can tell Windows that, okay, well, it is going to be compatible. Next, if we get back into our window, we want to, I want to stop, make sure that you're reading this correctly, and put a space in to do ignore warning. There is no /. We're going to type ignore, capital I, warning, capital WARNING. Once we type that in, we want to make sure that we've got our command set up right. And next is going to be migrate drivers all. So let's type in a space. Make sure we're typing in migrate, capital M, do the word drivers, and then finally a space and then all, capital A. Once we have this command in, we're going to hit enter to see if we typed in our information correct. So let's hit enter. What it will do is it will take you back to the D : prompt. Give it a few seconds. Windows should start its process. And as you can see, we did not type in the command in right. So we really have to make sure that we have the right prompt in, because again, if you aren't doing things the way that they're supposed to be done, then you're not going to get Windows to work right or the install right. So let's do it again. And for those of you that are challenged and don't want to type the whole thing in, you can use the right arrow key to type in Windows setup and then /product. And one of the things that I forgot to do is to put a space in server. Once we do product space server, capital S, then we want to put in compat for compatible. We want to do a space and then ignore. warning, another space, / if I can get that right, migrate, capital M, drivers, no space, and then a space for all. We're going to hit enter. We go back to the D prompt, and we are cooking with fire. So once we minimize the command prompt, see, it's going to give you the option to install Windows Server. Now you can change how Windows does its thing. If you click on the link here, you can download updates and drivers and optional features, which is recommended, or you can tell it right now if you want to do it quick and dirty. But I will tell you that if you don't do it now, you're going to have to do it at some point as far as getting the drivers, updates, and optional features. It makes for a little bit longer install of Windows 11. Let's go ahead and click on Next. We click on Next. Windows is going to tell us, since we didn't change the option, that it is checking for updates. So let's give it a few seconds and hope and pray that this doesn't take forever in order to get to our section of Windows where it wants to do the install. Now, checking for updates all depends on how long you're going or how fast your internet is going. So now we've kind of bypassed that and it's checking the computer. So let's go ahead and take a look. Obviously, the applicable notices and licenses that popped up when we were creating our media sample earlier, we're going to hit accept. The good thing about Windows Server, and don't let that fool you again, it is going to install Windows 11 Server Edition on your computer. So once we want to make sure that keep personal files or nothing, or keep file settings and apps, which will bring on everything from your old Windows 10 setup to Windows 11, we want to click Next. Get back, hit Next, making sure you're ready to install with the server setup. Checking for updates again, but we're in the process of the computer itself going to Windows 11. Now, when we do this update process, because we're not sitting here for, I think it took my computer a good 20 to 30 minutes to install, but it will check for updates. And let me switch between screens. And it will go to this process to 100%. Once it's done, it will reboot your computer, go through another process of going to 100%, and it may take some time again. So keep that in mind when you're updating your computer. Be patient, and sometimes if you look, it will actually update the computer depending on your internet speed and how fast the processor is in said computer, to a point where you can actually get your install done in a fairly amount of time. So it's going on to the next section, and we're going to hang out just a little bit longer just to show you how that process is going to work. But in the meantime, if you've got comments or questions about how to get Windows 11 on that unsupported Windows 10 computer, leave your comments in the comments section below. I know it was a long video, but it is a challenging process to get that computer that's unsupported by Microsoft to get you from Windows 10 to Windows 11. With every video, if you liked it, be sure to comment, like, and share this video with your non-tech savvy friends who are looking forward to getting more out of the technology they use at home and at work. One last screenshot of the process of it starting to install Windows 11. And as you can see, it's going to take a little while to get this done. But this is all that you would have to do in order to get to the process where you need to get the computer up to Windows 11. Now, guess what? We're at the final stages. As you can see, it's ready to install. So we're going to install Windows 11 Pro, which is a good sign. Also, it's going to keep all our files and settings and apps, but we can also go back to change what we want to keep. And I highly recommend that you keep your files, your settings, and your apps. We're going to click on Next, and then it's going to start the process of installing Windows 11. So the purpose of all of these videos that I create is to help you explore a whole new world of experiences and ideas with the devices and gadgets you use at home and at work. I love technology and I've read all the manuals, and I'm serious about making technology fun, safe, and easy to use for everyone. So take care of yourself and do many things to make you smile, and thanks for watching.